really looking forward to the weekend. So much to play for. Playoffs, Rocky Mountain Cup trophy for our fans. Yeah, we love the position we're in, that we're playing in meaningful games at the most important time of year. So all focus on the next game.
This is the last road regular season game of the year. Obviously, you'll be at a road disadvantage pretty early in the playoffs if you make it there. Just what needs to be better in road matchups now that you've had a chance to look at the last three?
Yeah, I've said this before. If you look around MLS, it's statistically harder to win on the road. Like, this is just how it goes in our league, and I think it shows the quality and the parity in the league, and the way teams get behind their fans, as you see in our building. Most teams have a hard time coming here to play over my few years and in all the years. So, listen, there's so many things that we think about getting better at. One really interesting thing is we're one of the teams in MLS that scores first more than any other team on the road, which seems like a positive, but maybe that doesn't help us. We're not going to not try to score first, but think about it. Even in Philadelphia this year, against the best team in the league, we're 1-0 up, 3-0 up in New England, and then naturally you just take some pressure psychologically. It's real. So we want to continue to score first. We want to continue to go on the road and be aggressive. But I think from set pieces to concentration to the way we start games, to the way we finish games, substitutions, it's not one thing, I promise you. But I know the team steps on the pitch with a good mentality. Otherwise, we're not getting lucky on the road with leads. But certainly some positives, but we want to be better on the road. Lots of little things. Sorry.
Chris, how important is for you guys the Rocky Mountain Cup? We know right now the main goal is the playoffs, but this is important for fans.
Listen, it's a 2-for-1. I mean, it's got a dual, all the reasons to win the game. First, the Rocky Mountain Cup is for our fans, so it's for us. It's one of the most important things. However, every time there's a trophy on the line, we want to be playing for that and put ourselves in that spot. So you win that game, it puts you 3 points closer to the playoffs, gets us the Rocky Mountain Cup. A draw gets us the Rocky Mountain Cup. So it's hard to quantify it. It's both 100 out of 100 important to make the playoffs. At the same time, lifting that trophy again would be huge for our fans.
Chris, you talked about scoring first. RSL over the last 10 scores 40% of their goals in the first 15 minutes of a match. Rapids have yet to get a winning result after conceding first. How do you lock them down and make sure it's the Rapids that get the first goal on the board?
We want to score more than them. That's for us. I think some of the data and statistics are going to be important to look at, but the games aren't won and lost in that thinking. You have to go there with the idea to start strong, to finish strong each half, and to be willing to go to 100 minutes. We were close to winning 2 games in their building last year, but you can see that they're willed to win. They have quality all over the pitch. The fans are amazing over there. So if I'm correct, I think scoring first in MLS is 60 or 70% of times you win. So we'll have to have the right mentality. It's all about mentality, stepping on that pitch, starting strong. And if you don't score first, you got to get it back, and you have the mentality to not push to get the equalizer to the end. So it's hard to say, when you don't score first, and how can you not get the result? It's difficult psychologically when you don't score first. So we always want to get the first goal and be able to respond when we don't.
Similarly, Chris, Salt Lake concedes most of their goals, how the Rapids did earlier in the season, within the last 5 of the first half or first 5 of the second half. You've surmounted that problem. How can the Rapids use that as an advantage to really capture both of those inflection points coming in and out of the half?
Again, it just comes down to focus. It comes down to us coming up with a plan, us making sure we do our part to we have a way of playing that players stick to it, and that we create a culture, an environment, and part of the demands around here is that you meet the demands of a game, which, you know, if a professional soccer player is not ready to play from the first 5 minutes, the second 5 minutes, the third, fifth, the 15th minute, you got to be ready to play the first 5 minutes of training every single day. And if you players that can't do that won't have long careers in this league, I promise you. I had a extremely long career because I was online from day one to 14 years later as a professional soccer player. I feel like I was born with urgency, and I'm 53 with urgency. You don't have that, you don't last long in this business. First five, listen, some of that stuff could be interesting. That, you know, if we're struggling in one of those areas, that maybe as a coach we can help ramp things up and help. But, you know, we're not joysticking things out there. But yeah, we'll try to take advantage of every 5-minute segment of the game.
RSL is one of those teams, you know, close to you in the standings, game in hand, could jump you. Is that something that you and the team are thinking about? Is it a challenge that you welcome, or is it something that you try to keep out of your mind?
We welcome it, Braden. I mean, these are the games you live for when you're a kid, you know. I don't think when you're a kid or a teenager or a pro that you'd want to go somewhere where you could just be part of 6-0 victories. That if you score the 7th, then you're the hero. Like, I think you want to be part of games that have pressure, that are meaningful, that there's trophies on the line, that there's rivalries, that there's fans in the building, that it matters. So these are the games that players want and coaches want to be part of influencing. Doesn't scare us. The nerves come, the jitters come, but those butterflies won't be there when you're done playing, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're 53. Maybe staring at the mirror, like, where are those butterflies, where are the nerves? They don't come there. Those guys are gone. So you try to learn and teach boys to welcome those things when they're flying around you, and grab those and keep them close, that you love this type of stuff. This is what they've all signed up for, and I remind them when the moment comes. But it's more about calming them down and being up for it than being nervous or scared of these moments. But I can tell you our group has responded in every time. Last year in the Rocky Mountain Cup, and this year, you know, against Houston at home, it was a 6-point swing, and our guys showed up on the night. So I expect us to show up on the night, win, lose, or draw. We give everything, and we're up for it. Most importantly, we are up for the demands of that game.
Chris, what do you have to say about the MLS calendar with so many games these days? Like, it would be nicer to come to the final 2 games, even on the games play. Real Salt Lake have like one more chance than the Rapids. I know it is what it is, but do you have to say anything about this?
Yeah, listen, I know that the people at MLS, that the decision makers, it's not perfect, it's imperfect, so they do everything they can to try to make it fair and exciting. The most important thing for me is that, yeah, on decision day, it all aligns, you know, on the last day, and that this is part of it. We don't put too much thinking into it, and I know that Major League Soccer, they do all they can to make us one of the top 5 in the world, and with the standards, and you can see with Messi in our league now, and owners, the way they're spending money and the resources that we have at our disposal. We have a lot to be grateful for. I don't complain too much, and it's a little bit imperfect along the way, but we won't focus on that too much.
Chris, have you talked to Pablo yet this week? Any side bets riding on the result?
No, I'll see Pablo at the game. You know, I love Pablo. We shared the pitch as competitors, as players, and we had the privilege of being national team teammates. And I have all the respect for him as a human being, and when he was a player, and now as a coach. He's doing a really nice job over there. I'll see him at the game.
What do you have to say about Real Salt Lake and the risk they will give to us?
They're a good team. You can see even recently with even LAFC, they lose the games, but at home they were the better team, in my opinion. You know, of course they lose 4-1, but it's LAFC with Son and Buanga counterattacking, and we'll take care of them in a few weeks. But Yeah, so they're a good team. They defensively they're organized. They play with structure. I think like Pablo demands, they're hard to play against. And in possession, I think they're one of the better teams that can space the field and move you around. And then you have some interesting players like Diego Luna that you have to figure out and deal with. I think they're a really dangerous team. They can hurt you in so many different ways. And yeah, we must bring our A game to have a chance.
You mentioned Diego Luna, him and Paxton Aronson, very similar in age, position, all the things, super, ultra competitive, exciting for the future of U.S. soccer. Just how exciting, as a neutral fan, is that matchup in the context of this rivalry for you?
Yeah, listen, I said it at Paxton's press conference that, instead of talking about why he might come back from Europe, that we should celebrate that we have the opportunity in our own backyards to see these young, talented Americans putting on a show. So you have tremendous talents in Paxton and in Diego Luna, and I think those guys are the future in the country, the future of the national team, as Diego Luna is showing. His quality, his passion for the game that Pochettino seems to love. We all can recognize it, and I think you see why Paxton gets in the mix in the conversation. So both guys are probably wanting to do better than the next guy on the day, and this is part of it. But I think any football fan in our country should be, if they can, check out the highlights or tune into our game. See some young talents going at it.